Hello and welcome to Friday with the Chakontas. I am Mr. Chakonta.
And I'm Mrs. Chakonta.
And we're back after a very long time with FWTC React.
Yes. Thank you so much to those who've checked in and who've been telling us how much they missed the episodes or are looking forward to watching. Thank you so much for your support. We really, really value your support and appreciate it. Continue watching or continue listening to us. We've got another story for you today. I hope that you find this, you enjoy it. And please do join in the discussion on in the comments as well. And if you're new, welcome. I hope you like what you hear and feel free to join in the discussion as well. We post every Fridays on YouTube, but you can also follow us on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, on Apple Music, Spotify, and one more.
Yeah, all digital.
YouTube Music.
All digital outlets. Yeah, we are on almost all digital outlets. So if you want to find us, Friday with the Chakontas or FWTC, and
All right.
So do you want to go into the story?
Yes, I will do. I'll go into it. So the title is Married but Alone. I don't have a husband, but a housemate or roommate, I must say. We're only 8 months in our marriage, and it feels like a miserable decade spent in it. We both work and come back home at the same time. Immediately after work, I spend the time cooking in the kitchen alone while he catches up with his friends on the phone. Sometimes he stays out late after work and comes home after dinner. We don't even talk about how our day was. It's this same routine every day. He talks to his friends for hours on the phone. After a phone call comes, the texting throughout. He invests 80% of his time in his friends. I'd ask him to at least spend the weekend with me, but he'll either get a call or leave or spend the day on his phone with his friends. I used to look forward to us getting married because I thought I would get to spend most of my time with the person I loved, but now I don't even know why I said yes, because dating is better than being married, my opinion. I cherish spending quality time with the person I love. Maybe he finds me boring, or maybe he just doesn't love being around me. Maybe we're just two different people. I'm beginning to hate my husband every day and thinking of filing for a divorce because this is just not working out. I would rather be single than being in a marriage alone. All I need is to gather my courage and leave before I resent him more. But is there anyone out there that can help me look at this differently?
Yeah, you can go first.
No, baby, you're really good at going first.
Yeah, no. I don't think you want to hear what I have to say.
Really?
Just go first.
What do you have to say? Let's hear it. I think everyone wants to hear what you have to say then.
No. I'll wait for you.
Why?
I think I probably have a different opinion than you have.
Okay, we want to hear you because you're going to be one of the odd ones.
No,
I don't.
Just go first. Okay, give us maybe the first few ones. What do you think?
A few words.
Yeah.
It sounds like she's married and alone.
Yeah.
And I can understand why she feels that way.
Yeah.
And I know not everybody follows the sort of love languages, sort of what's the word? Love, the 5 love languages, but I think it can be quite helpful.
Yeah.
And when I was reading it, I was thinking, maybe her love language is quality time, because she did say I love spending quality time.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's an imbalance in the expectations. And in some way, I think maybe I can see what you're gonna say, because I sort of resonate in some areas, because I think when you're getting married, you have certain expectations, and then you realize that actually in reality, maybe some of those expectations were okay, but some of them are actually not realistic. And I think perhaps this is where maybe I understand, because I think maybe us, or I don't know, maybe I won't say us women, but for example, maybe my expectations used to be that yes, we'll literally be in each other's space all the time, and in reality that's just not possible. We have different schedules, we have different interests, and it's like you're now living together and it's trying to make all that work. So I do think the expectations at the moment are not high expectations are not being met, but I don't know whether his expectations are being met or not. It does sound like he's cold. It sounds like she's I will need to read it again. I don't know if she says she's tried to talk to him about it, but then he just reverts to speaking on the phone to his friends. So it does make me feel like perhaps he's still living the single life and he's still enjoying the other benefits. Well, she hasn't really discussed it in here. Maybe enjoying certain benefits of marriage, but then not realizing that actually you need to compromise. You might want to speak on the phone to your friends, but your wife wants quality time. So are you dedicating that quality time to her? And I think in this scenario, it's even helpful that she works, because if she wasn't working, she'd be like, because you can imagine you've been at home the whole day, you've been doing whatever, and if it's just the two of you, the likelihood of there being so many house chores are less than when you have others living with you or you have children. So you might actually, as soon as he comes home from work, you might generally be free. And you've just been looking forward to seeing this person, and they're just like, I need another way to outlet, and that outlet is not you. And you feel rejected. It's yeah. So I know you told me to say a few words, but I might as well keep going. So yeah, no, I'm done. So in this scenario, I do understand for the girl, and I feel like he's not compromising, or he's not really prioritizing her, and he's not really understanding that, you know, I mean, how do you even come into the house and not even ask each other how your day was? She just cooks, they eat dinner, and that's it. That's cold, man. Might as well live by yourself.
I understand where you're coming from, but I also look at it from an aspect of where maybe we're getting one side of the story. And when we get one side of the story, it's very easy for us to say that's the way things should be. One thing I'm seeing here is that based on their description, I can agree, yes, he's spending a lot of time with his friends. But I also feel in marriage, there's this expectation, mainly from women. There's this expectation of, I'm going to be spending time with you as much as I want. I've got exclusivity, which is okay. But that exclusivity means sometimes some women have this idea of, you follow my schedule. You follow what I do. If I want to go see my friends, I want you to be there with me. If I want to go see my family, I want you to be there with me. And for you, it's just that what's convenient for you. And on that side, it can also come a bit selfish, because even I'm looking at the narrative of what she's saying, she's feeling like, I felt I would do all these things. But then let's say, for example, she finds that her husband enjoys other things. Has she taken the time to actually study her husband and learn what he enjoys so that she can be able to feel and also know those things that he enjoys? Because I think this is about marriage. Marriage is a sense of where we all have different ways and means of how we communicate. If we talk about the love languages, he may have a different love language, but for her, it's now coming from the aspect of, my love language is not being met. So I think I'm in the wrong relationship, and it goes in the aspect of resentment or feeling neglected, feeling a certain aspect of where you feel my needs are not being met. But the question is, are you meeting the other person's needs? Why does it feel so comfortable to just go to other people and have conversations with? Because on the other side, it's maybe, because he's saying 8 months. Maybe for him, it's just like, okay, we can't have just conversations all about, this is how I'm feeling. When we're married, where should we? It's like maybe she wants to be planning. She wants to plan every time. And for him, he's just like, I've just been from work. I just want to rewind and just watch the game. Maybe talk to my friends about silly things or something like that. Or let's talk about something silly. And I think she needs to gauge. 8 months is too young for you to start feeling this type of way of now having a divorce or something like that. I think this is another aspect of where the honeymoon has ended. And because now the honeymoon has ended, the problem is we go into the marriage thinking the honeymoon will last forever. And because we have this idea of the honeymoon will last forever, we're always thinking once that spark ends, I'm off to the next one, because I want to have that feeling, an everlasting feeling of joy, happiness, and everything like that. But that's not marriage. Marriage is not designed that way. Marriage comes in various aspects and various shapes and sizes. Even when we're talking about our vows, we're talking about for better or for worse. We're talking about in richness or being rich or poor, in sickness or in health. And that's the dynamics of saying there will be areas of where the scale will be here, sometimes will be up, and the scale will be down sometimes. How do you navigate those things? But the problem with our mindset is we always think about good things. And when it becomes bad, the first thing we have this attitude of if it's bad, we throw it away. And let's say, I think the other side, maybe I'm not giving her justice, is that she has communicated with him. And based on her information, she said the communication didn't go far. Is that what she said?
No, she says when they start, and then he would just leave, basically. I've talked to him, I'd ask him to at least spend the weekend with me, but he would either get a call and leave or spend the day on his phone with his friends.
So I understand on the other side of where we will talk about him a bit more, or where we're saying like he also needs to understand he's in a different relationship and he can't be spending his time with his friends all the time. I don't know her situation. From what I'm getting is like she's just invested in the house and she doesn't have friends, she doesn't have relatives, and she doesn't do anything. That's what I'm getting.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I was going to say maybe that 80%, I still think the guy needs to work. I mean, there needs to be a unity in this, but I was going to suggest that maybe that 80% might be less if she had other hobbies and other activities. We don't know, but I don't know. If she had friends, then while she's cooking, she could be talking to her friends or close friends, or, at the weekend. It's not always every weekend with him. You can visit your family, you can visit your friends, you can do hobbies, whatever you like, whether it's knitting, sewing, watching TV, or going for exercise, whatever hobbies you have. I feel like that the feeling of loneliness might not be as deep, and that 80% could reduce to maybe a 60 or a 50 or a 40%. And therefore you're not feeling so lonely in general. And I think you can't fully depend on your husband to be your source of everything in anything, whether it's spiritually, emotionally. I don't think that is healthy. I think you still need to have other friends, because there are times you need to vent about him, and there are times he needs his space to chill with his guys. You need your space, and that also builds a healthy relationship, because it's true, if you're mad at each other, and there's only, no, I wouldn't say there's only so much you can talk about, but like it depends on the conversations you have. If your conversations are always about the house, the kids, this, that, so what can you have general day-to-day conversations on something new, the news? Can you share anything that you've watched, or anything that you've found on TikTok or on YouTube, whatever you can to find entertainment in each other and with each other. But I think there's definitely like a divide, and I do agree that both in this situation, I think that both need to work on the marriage. So I think in her working on her other relationships could also help with the marriage. She's communicated to him, but maybe being explicit and saying, I would like to spend this day with you from this time to this time. I would like to watch a movie with you. That's what quality time means. Because maybe for him, he's just like, we're spending time together. We just woke up in the same house. We're together. So I think that communication needs to be detailed so he understands what that means. And also he needs to not relax and just be like, oh yeah, I've got a woman now. It's like, just sounds like, okay, you've got someone in the house that cooks for you. And I don't know what other chores she might not do, because she only mentioned cooking. And then that's it. You don't talk to her, and you find I just find you've come from work, like chill with your wife, and then you can have some moments with your friends and family later. But it sounds like he's constantly on his phone as if he's still single. And I think there needs to be there's a difference. You have a home that you need to look after. There are things that you need to be doing. And yes, you might not like conversations about planning, but those conversations need to be had sometimes. You might not like conversations about finances, but those conversations need to be had sometimes, or children, or your health, or I don't know, but there's certain conversations that need to be had in a home. So you might not like it, and you might want to just play games with your friends, but that's not, when you said you wanted to get married and you wanted a woman in your life, that's not, you need to understand that there's a shift in in your life and the shift in your mentality, and there's certain things that also need to come first, and you have to make sure that your home is in order before you now start living life and thinking that you can just be boyfriend. There's a difference between a boyfriend and a girlfriend, and there's a difference between a wife and a husband.
I agree, but I think maybe you take it to a level where I may disagree. I think it's also a wife's job to understand how to navigate conversations. Do you agree or disagree?
I think it's both people's jobs.
No, but she's the one who wants something. She wants something.
She didn't say she wanted conversation. She wanted quality time.
No, she's the one who wants something from him.
Yeah.
So the way she addresses that thing, do you agree it's her responsibility on how she should bring that conversation and harness the thing that she wants?
I agree and disagree.
Okay.
So I agree because I agree that if you have an issue with your partner or there's something, I think it's you to bring it up, right? But in this situation, the only reason that it's not actually, I would just say I completely agree with you. I would just like to add something in addition.
Okay.
So I agree with you that she's seen an area that needs work. It's for her to bring it up and to bring it up in a matter that is sensitive and respectful. And even if she's brought it up once, she can bring it up multiple times, but multiple times she should still remain respectful and be careful how she, not shouting and saying, oh, you whatever, like, or sometimes, and not insinuating. But because for me, for example, I would insinuate that he doesn't love me, right? I would think he doesn't love me. But at the same time, I'm sorry, I would question whether you love her, because when you love somebody, one of those things that you do when you're show that you love someone is also spending time with them. I don't think you can say I love you, but we don't exist in this home as a unity. I don't know what you love. You love the idea of maybe having somebody. I'm just using the example because she's only talked about cooking. So you love the idea that you have somebody in the house who cooks for you. But what else is like? For me, I would personally, and I think this is where I would say it is personal. And I think a lot of women might actually resonate with me and agree with me. The ways that a man treats you that show that they love you. So if you're coming home and we ain't chatting, and when it comes to the weekend, you're prioritizing everything else, I'm sorry, but I will come to the conclusion that perhaps you don't love me.
I agree with what you come. I agree with the conclusion.
And in general, when you love someone, you show it. It's not a matter of just talk. It's not just on the lips, I love you, good night. You show it in your conduct, in your behavior, and how you listen. When they've brought up something to you, so she complained. So what did you do about it?
I agree with you, but again, we probably need to define what love is and what the responsibilities are called for both men and women. I agree. We can be friends. We can do certain things. Do you think quality time is something that is a need for a relationship? How do you define quality time?
I think quality time is forgetting about the 5 love languages, right? I'm just talking about in general quality time. Yes, you can't say for any relationship to become a relationship, time had to be spent, right? So, okay, I won't say any because there are exceptions, but the majority of things that we define as a relationship, there had to be a form of communication. And time had to be spent. Yeah. Right? I said the majority because there's some where it just happened that you're related and you have a relationship. But a relationship, the definition of a relationship, I'll have to actually look into the dictionary. So I believe that quality time is essential in a marriage. Yeah. And that quality time there are different ways and how it can be executed. It doesn't necessarily, just because you watch a movie together does not mean you have spent quality time. Just because you've gone out to see family, just because there are different ways and the different
but you're defining it in a way that you feel is comfortable for you.
That's what I said. What do you mean?
You can't define quality time on the basis of what you believe quality time is.
No.
Quality time is, we have to have a definition of it's time spent together. It can be in various ways.
That's what I said when I said it doesn't mean you've spent I don't mean as in, sorry. I don't mean as in because you watched a movie, it's not, you haven't spent quality time. I mean, that is an example, but it's not an example for everyone.
Okay, go ahead.
So I don't mean, I see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
So I think, back to my main point is quality time is needed in every marriage. You need it. How that comes about, it depends on the different marriages, and it depends on the marriage because they're two different people. So it depends on those two different people's personalities and how they view quality time. We have a different way of how, even the both of us have a different way. We had to actually get to a point where we had to define what quality time meant for me and what quality time meant for you. I can't even remember, but I do remember we had this conversation and I was like, no, that's not quality time for me. And you're like, yeah, that's quality time for me. And I'm like, no, that doesn't count.
But let me go back to what you're saying. Maybe like on that sense, but do you feel that this conversation also comes from a selfish nature? Because the woman wants to be the one who defines what quality time is. Because she's saying, this is what I define as quality time.
Yes,
and
I can see where you're...
And I want you to come aboard on, this is the definition of quality time.
I can see where you're coming from. But I think that we both need to come to a conclusion that we won't always have the same definition of quality time. And therefore, to allow the marriage to flourish, we both need to be satisfied in our definitions of quality time, because quality time is essential for a marriage to work.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I'm saying this is why I was arguing from the beginning and saying, look, she is feeling starved on the aspect of what she defines as quality time and what she wants as quality time. And because of that, she feels she's alone in the marriage.
Yeah.
He can also define something as quality time and saying, you're doing certain things that I don't, maybe for him, it's not even quality time. It's just things that he values that she's not doing. Maybe, for example, let's say if she cooks, yeah, I value your aspect of cooking and helping things easier for me.
But that's not quality time, babe.
We're not talking about quality time.
Oh,
we're just
that's
saying
a value.
different languages.
Oh, okay.
Maybe for him, quality time is just, okay, yeah, we said hi, we know that stuff. Maybe he's got a low threshold of quality time.
Yeah.
And he's got a high threshold on other areas.
But I wonder what other areas, because the thing is, it's one thing to, it's a good point what you've said, because sometimes we in a relationship can dwell so much on one thing and miss out on the other thing that the other person is doing.
Yeah.
So I wonder in what other areas does he show love or affection towards her? Let's say,
what if he's basically thinking, I've brought the money, I've provided and protected for you. Why are you nagging me about me going to see my friends? The rent is paid for him. Let's say if he grew up in a home that views just, this is what a man does, I'm doing it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Can you leave me alone now? That's what she's saying. Can you leave me alone to go and hang around with the boys and all that stuff? So you understanding where I'm coming from?
No, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I think I was along those lines, but I've lost my train of thought. But I see, like, I think this will only come out when you have that conversation, because, like saying what are the things that he's doing that he feels that I'm doing enough. Like maybe he will even be shocked that you would even think about divorce. Like, where did this come from? I thought we were doing well. I come home after work, I don't go out drinking. I go out with my friends once or twice a week.
Yeah.
You know where I am. At the weekend, you know where I've gone. I'm not messing about. I'm not cheating on you. So where is this coming from? I'm doing everything that I can to sort of to show that I love you.
Yeah.
So I wonder what he would have to say. And I think, my point was sometimes, not women, in general, as people, we can dwell so much on what the other person is not doing and forget about the other things that the person is doing.
Yeah.
So that, when you now look at it in perspective, like you look at everything overall in one, as one picture, you see actually, okay, I know he's not spending time, but perhaps if we can if he can just improve 20%, he's not giving me a whole 100, but if he just improves 20%, that means he's giving me 40. And if I work on myself and just find ways to entertain myself, that means I get another 40. That means there's a deficit of 20, 30, or if you work on yourself, it's 20. You know what I mean? But then in other areas, it's 100%. And then looking to see, okay, what really is important in our relationship. Like you're not going to get everything perfect in a relationship.
Yeah.
Because you're not perfect and he's not perfect. So nothing is gonna be perfect. And then, for example, maybe if you compare yourselves with other relationships and, you know, you're like, oh, she's always posting her relationship with her husband, and, you know, people post so many things, and you're comparing your relationship, and then you're feeling like there's a deficit in your relationship, but you don't always know what's going on in other marriages, because people, you know, it's not something that we easily share. It's easy for us to share all the good things, but it's very rare that you see people truly sharing what's really going on deep down in their marriages. So I do think there's an element of compromise. So you might not get him fully to the place where he's spending all his time with you, and I think that is unrealistic. You need to give him space. But at the same time, I think the time that he's spending is just too much. I think he needs to compromise and also give you time.
I agree with you on that part where I said, where he's spending, he needs to evaluate and say, look, okay, I'm married now. I can't have the same relationship I had with the guys like I do. And maybe the guys that's the way he releases steam and everything like that. But every relationship is very different. I agree. This is based on how she communicates that and says, this is important for me and I want this. How can we make a compromise? Do you agree with that? Because there's some women who just like, they're okay with their husband leaving the house and going to whatever, as long as they always find something else to do with their time. There are women who are, that's different and everything like that. It's not a set standard of saying when you are married, the definition of marriage is now you need to spend time and an X amount of time. There's no definition, there's no rule and everything like that. This is just based on personalities. And personalities will come out, as I've said, in various shapes and sizes. So like she has to come to the point of where now she needs to understand that if this thing is important for her, how does she communicate? But communication also with maturity, in the sense of understanding that I was expecting this, but it's not the same way that I'm expecting it. But how do I now channel my expectations and also put with the new information that I've gotten into this relationship and balance it out? So I'm saying, look, my husband likes this. I like that. How can we meet each other? How can we meet each other halfway? There's some times where some people just say, okay, look, I know this is what you like doing, but give me 2 weeks, undivided 2 weeks, and we can go on holiday and we can spend, I don't want you to be on your phone. I don't want you, whatever. This is my 2 weeks. And I'm okay with that. As long as you're doing A, B, C, D, I've gotten my quality time. But the problem I also see with a woman like that who's very agitated to the point of actually going to divorce, I can find it can be very easy for something like a guy who gives her attention can creep in, and she can feel, oh, I'm getting the attention from the guy, and my needs are being met on the attention and the quality time. And well, yeah, he does the other things. So I'll be okay with the other things. And it's, let's say maybe even the quality time, let's say the quality time was just a 20% in the marriage, of the context of the whole marriage. She's blowing the proportion of, this is everything for me. This is 100%. And I think that, like you were saying, she has to be level-headed and say, I have to divide my marriage in quality time, whatever, and every aspect of what she feels a holistic marriage is. And biblically, let's say we have to also figure it out biblically and saying what's a holistic marriage and how does it look? How are we functioning in these certain aspects? And I think also another aspect before she even goes to that stage of divorce and everything like that, also seek for advice from women, older women, because I think maybe there's also another side of where like women as younger women, when they get married, this is 8 months. You've got your own mindset of, I want my marriage to be designed this way. But go to older women and say, I'm finding this as a problem. What's your advice? How can you speak into this situation? I've talked to him about this. And I think sometimes it's also, when you're also having conversations, invite people, certain people into your relationship. Because sometimes maybe just hearing it from you, he's just hearing something else than if he hears it from other people. Or even like, let's say, for example, he likes having friends around. It's okay, you know what? Bring your friends. Bring 2 friends over. Have your thing here. I'll make you guys get together and everything like that. Let me also get to know your friends or something like that. Do they have girlfriends? Are they married? Let's have a get together. Bring the kids or something like that. By you doing that, you're also showing, okay, this is something where he wants to relax, and I can see him relax in this aspect. And how can I channel something that I need and extend it? Because let's say, for example, there's some women who say quality time just means me and you.
Yeah.
Even let's say if we have to do double dates, I don't want. Do you agree with that? Some people will say that they don't feel that's quality.
No, I know that some people will say that, and other people are different.
Yeah, and other people are different. So it comes out from the sense of where she needs to also check herself and saying, why are you running so quick to divorce? Yeah. Why do you feel so lonely? Have you tried to change? You've gotten new information. It's too early for you to start calling divorce, because for her, she's so much in her feelings to the point of saying, I don't want to be in a marriage where I feel like this forever.
Yeah.
This is 8 months and you're feeling like that. But I can see where she's coming from also.
It's only 8 months. The guy should be like, can't wait to,
No, honeymoon is done by then.
So, yours was done by then.
No.
How long did it take your honeymoon to go? Because you're like, it's done. I'm like, I thought our honeymoon was a bit longer than that. Okay.
Our honeymoon was a bit long. But I'm saying, look, ours was an extended honeymoon. But I think if we have to just come to the point.
But our honeymoon then hit like when, and then when it went, it went.
then when we started having challenges, I think, it now understood like, oh, we're actually different.
Yeah.
And we now these differences are now challenging for us.
Yeah.
How do we navigate those differences in the best possible way? Yeah, and I can't blame her. There were some times where we're so rational to the point of where we're thinking maybe it's just best if we're just by ourselves. But I think with maturity, we've also gone to understand like, look, we are different, and the aspect of differences that come in the marriage is something that God has uniquely blessed us in the sense of we are different. And if I wanted to get married to somebody who's like me, I don't think I will. And I always tell you that I don't think I'll get married to somebody who was like me. Haven't I told you that?
Yes, you have.
Yes, and I said,
and then you still try and change me sometimes to be thinking like you and doing things the way you do, and I'm like, that doesn't make sense to me.
On certain things. But let's say, for example, like there's another one. I was like, I don't think, because I'm a little bit messier than you.
Oh, babe, can you please tell the truth?
No.
How can you say I'm a little bit messier than you?
Okay,
a little
bit.
Oh, okay.
A little bit.
As you can see.
And I don't think if I marry somebody who had the same energy of messiness with me, I think I will find it hard.
Can you imagine you people? This is what I have to deal with. The guy be messy, but he's like, I can't marry someone who's messy like me.
So yeah.
Anyway, it is well. So 8 months, young lady. We are 8 years and we're still trying to figure it out. There's still things that are not perfect. Even times where maybe quality time may go really well in a season, and then in a season where you feel like actually this is not going well, we revisit it. There's many arguments or many differences that we've had that, years can pass and we come back to it and we sharpen it, we iron it out. We either come to the same conclusion or a better conclusion or just a different conclusion. It's just a process. My point is it's something you work through. It's not going to be, okay, I've spoken to him and now it's done. So going forward for the rest of our marriage, it's going to be perfect. Unfortunately, it doesn't always work that way. There's always something to work on for yourself. There's always something to work on as a couple. And I think the other thing is prayer. And I can testify to that. Like, it does work. Like, God listens and God helps us. There are times where you feel like you cannot get through to your husband, but God can. There are many times that I've spoken to Tamelo about something and I just feel like I'm hitting a brick wall. I mean, I'm still praying about the messiness. I'm still, to be fair, actually, I don't think I've prayed about that. I think I need to. I think I really do.
You make it sound like I'm really messy, but anyways, let's continue.
It's better to be honest.
Let's just continue.
So that's something that, I really think I do need to pray about. But there are things that you cannot tap into or you can't touch, but prayer can. So asking God to give you wisdom in how you communicate, and just asking God to help you guys, because ultimately God is for marriage and he wants your marriage to work. He doesn't want you to be thinking about divorce. He doesn't want you to divorce. So I believe that God will help you and will guide you. And there are many ways that I've seen things change, as I've said in our marriage, that I'm just like, oh wow, I was praying about this a long time ago. He's looking at me like, what? Yeah, I never told you about it. But I'm like, oh wow, this is an answered prayer. Thank you so much, God. And it does work.
Yeah. I agree with that, and I think that's a good advice. I think also allowing God to be in the relationship, not only on your side. I'll probably say even pray also for yourself. Maybe there's a blind spot that you have that you need God to change your heart on. So that's something that you also need to pray for, both of you. Because if your prayers are only one-sided of saying, God, I want him to meet my every need of what I want, that's a selfish prayer. We're saying, Lord, we want to live according to what you want us to live in our marriage that glorifies you.
Yeah.
And how can I change, and how can you also change, so that we can understand each other? And the main purpose here is we want to glorify you to the best of our ability.
Yeah.
So maybe we can go to some comments and just see what other people are saying.
Yeah.
What are the people saying?
Just keep yourself busy. He will come to the realization that he is wrong. The first few years can be tricky like that. It will pass.
But is that the first one you read?
Yeah.
Other people, I think. I think they're mainly ladies. That's what I'm saying. But
no, this was actually a gentleman, and I must say, I can add one which I think we haven't touched on, and I did think about it. It said it also depends on how their courtship was, because I don't believe they were friends to begin with.
Yeah, maybe I agree with that. But like sometimes maybe like marriage, we also have to put marriage in different contexts. Like let's say we have our friends from different places where like they don't know each other. They know each other in the marriage.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's not that the way we do our courting is always going to translate in each and every tradition. So we have to be able to be cautious about that. So here, like some people are saying, like, unfortunately, this type does not change. They will dump you at home because of a friend called, friends and chill are more important. Married bachelors.
Yeah, he kind of is just playing some form of married bachelor babe. Yeah. I can see it.
And then another one, which I think was also a profound one, is she said, yes, we are here who think differently. Remember, you met the person a couple of years ago. Let's say he was 30. That's 30 years of old habits that cannot be changed in 8 months. Speak with him more. Don't repeat the wrong things he does. Maybe he feels you are competing in being quiet. And whenever there is a competition, one wins while the other loses.
There's some deep ones here.
Yeah, say the other one.
I don't even know. They're all like really okay. I guess we just have to be honest. This one says he just doesn't love you. That's exactly my situation. We can't even be together on important days like New Year, but he would rather spend it with his friends. Like, okay.
Is that a lady or a man?
Yeah, that's a lady.
I think ladies are a bit.
They're having it. Yeah. Then there's this one. Marriage is per last heaven is their goal.
It's totally. This is somebody. I think did you read that one? It's totally understandable. To wonder if talking to him will make a difference. It's worth a shot to express how you feel and what you need from the relationship. Sometimes people don't realize the impact of their actions until it is brought to their attention. Give it a try and see if there is a chance for things to improve. Remember, your feelings are valid and it is important to communicate them.
Oh, that's very nice.
Yeah.
There's this one which I think is interesting. It's a interesting take, but could be true because the different people deal with situations differently. So this one says, check your background very well or your lifestyle while you were dating. Maybe there is something you did and he discovered it hours or weeks after you guys got married. And because of that, it has put him off. Try to do a background check properly and also sit and talk to him why he's behaving like that.
This one is a bit, just break his smartphone. When he buys a new one, break it.
Oh, I saw that one. I'm like, please don't, please don't. Then you now come back and say, oh, so this is the situation. We did this. Then he hit me. Then I hit him. It's no, like, just don't. Oh my god. Oh yeah.
I keep on saying marriage bachelor. Marriage what? Bachelor. Bachelor.
Bachelor.
Yeah, marriage bachelor.
Yeah, they're not nice comments. Therapy. I think that's a nice one actually. Therapy. That one just said therapy. I did think that's another way that you can deal with it. Therapy. And both of you can go to therapy. And sometimes one person is not keen for therapy, but you can have individual therapy as well.
Yeah, like I've said, you can invite people. Therapy can be very different.
That's true.
You can have professionally, or you can invite people into your marriage, like older people. And I think biblically, that's the type of therapy that we see, where older men disciple younger men, older women disciple younger women. And if you can find a couple who can do that, then at least they've been through that so that they can be able to speak into your life better. And also friends who've also gone before you. And so these are things. It's 8 months. It's just 8 months, as I think. And I think there's another side where maybe he is got bachelor instincts that I'm okay.
Nah, babe, I couldn't deal with you. If you were like that, we couldn't. Like, would have to have serious talks.
No, but there is an aspect of if you've been a bachelor, you've had a lifestyle that has been going on in a particular way. We're not saying it's right. It's just hard habits die hard, and I'm saying that's why you have to be communicating. But I'm saying she's also going to the extremes. Even though he does extremes, she's going to extremes of saying the marriage has failed. I don't think that's
I don't think I agree with you. I think we've just started the journey, girl. It's just yours has started off on a bit of a rocky patch a bit early, but that does not mean that that's the end of the marriage. I think I've got one last comment. I think I won't read all of it because some of it. What does it say? It says if you have talked about it with him and he doesn't want to change, pretend he doesn't. Yeah, I don't agree. Start exploring new eating places, find a hobby, start a business. This part. Lastly, having a child should be your last resort for now. I thought that might be a good point to bring because sometimes when you're going through difficulties, some people go on both extremes. Some people go on, let's have a child. And some people go on, let's not have a child. Does that make sense? Okay, so like some people are like, okay, this is not my point is actually some people can think that when you're going through problems or a man is behaving a particular way, you think, okay, maybe if I give him a child, there is that notion. Maybe if I give him a child, then maybe he will treat me better, or maybe he will change because there's a child in the picture. But then there's also that notion of what happens if the child doesn't make things better. What happens if it still remains the same? And I think, although this you might not agree with, but I've seen it in a situation where when you are like they might have had discussions of saying, okay, we want to have a child at this particular time, and this is the time that they want to have a child, and then let's say she's like. I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to find an explanation because I kind of resonated with what the woman was trying to say, saying having a child should be your last resort for now. Like if that's something that they're thinking about, not that they shouldn't. And, a child will come whenever God wants the child to come. Yeah. But sometimes when you're still working yourselves out, like you're still working out how to handle certain things. Like in some situations, having a child can help. but in some situations it can make it even worse. I don't know if that makes sense.
I agree with
but
you
I
on
kind of
that.
see.
Yeah.
I kind of got resonated with what she was trying to say.
No, I don't agree with her conclusion of having a child. That's something that they'll have to decide. And even though the child comes and there's few challenges, by God's grace, we can always, let's not go to the point of where we feel problems cannot be fixed.
Yeah, that's true.
We have this notion of where we feel if there's a problem, there's always a time where we feel that problem cannot be fixed. That's our pride talking. There's no problem big enough that cannot be fixed.
Yeah.
And that's what God basically shows us. God shows us through himself that, look, there's no problem. Sometimes that's why some people like say, if this person does this thing, I'm going. If this person does this thing, I'm going. And this is like the mentality that we have as people. We always thinking, I have to be outside. I have to be 1 foot outside. And when that person does that same situation, then we become, oh, but I had this conviction in my heart of saying, if this happens, I'm going to leave. But that the Bible doesn't show us that. The Bible does not show any aspect of exit that we need to be thinking of. It should basically say these things, we need to basically take them back to God. Because God is the one who shape our hearts and shape even the person who we're married to his heart, so that we can do things to the glory and honor of his name. That's one. We can't have this attitude of where we're saying our problems are too big for them to be fixed. Yeah. So on the aspect of where people are saying having a child at this time and whatever, there is an aspect of wisdom where I can say, like maybe sometimes having a child early, there's an aspect of maybe you need to have aspect of wisdom and saying, are you guys ready?
I don't think there's ever a perfect time.
I agree, because some people will say we are ready. Maybe we've had the aspect of where we've prepared the financial side, but there's also another aspect they haven't prepared for, because it's always a lot of things you always learn on the job. It's never a perfect picture of where you're always going to be prepared. And I think we need to come to that sense of where sometimes we over prepare.
Yeah,
to
that's
the point
true.
of where, like, when we say, but we prepared, and then God's like, and I think God is also funny in the sense of, well, okay, I'll prepare. And I'll show you guys that what I'm trying to teach you in this situation is trust in me. In each and every situation. I've given you the formula of how you guys need to do things. Trust in me. If there's a child comes early, we'll deal with it. If a child comes after, there's no child is not coming, we'll deal with the situation. And watch this, because that was the same situation that what's her name started doing, Leah and Jacob, Rachel, Leah and Jacob. She started giving him, because she gave him babies, and he still loved her sister. She started feeling like, oh, maybe if I give him another child, he will love me. Maybe if I do A, B, C, D, until a point of where she just said, okay, you know what? I will come to a point of where I will just focus on my relationship with God. I can't get the love that I want from this person, but I'm comfortable with the aspect of the love that I have from God is enough.
Yeah.
And sometimes there has to come to a point of where you will be searching for that thing. Maybe that person cannot give you that thing, but only God can give you that. And sometimes we idolize our relationships to the point of where we feel I have a need and that person needs to give me that need. And those needs, they're okay, but sometimes those needs can be very selfish. We can now become very selfish, we're not thinking about other people, because we just have this attitude of that need needs to be fulfilled for me. And I think that's also something that you need to check your heart on.
Yeah.
So if you guys have any other comments, I would like to hear. I think we may have had different sides. No, but I think we had very similar sides. I'm not sure.
What do you mean?
On the whole conversation.
Different sides?
Of perspectives.
I don't get it.
Did we have different sides?
Yes.
Do you think we had different sides, or do you think we agreed?
Oh, yeah, we came to similar conclusions.
Okay. So, yeah. We would like to hear what you guys think about this, because it's easier said than done, because we can say it and say, oh, this is that. But there's some people who are going through these things and they're saying maybe they need some action points of what they need to do, or when they're going through a situation like that. I think the best thing we'll always say is trust God in this situation and invite people. That's why we're always advocates for doing relationships in community.
Yeah.
Because if you do it in community, you can be able to get information from other people and also apply it to you in a particular way. And anything you want to add?
No, just thank you for listening, and please let us know your thoughts.
Yeah. So like we always say, like, subscribe, and
share.
And until next time, we thank you for taking the time to listen to our podcast. And until next time, take care and God bless. Bye-bye.